Hey guys, I am back again. I'm again sitting in my van. It's been winter, it's been cold, so I haven't been doing this quite as often lately. But if you can hear a slight rumble, it's because the fan is running to keep me warm because my poor fingers are cold. And that's just what it is. So today's just another talking vlog. Just get some stuff off my chest and things going on, because I have no doubt it's going to show slightly my personality for a little while. I'm sure you clicked on this because of the title of the video, or in general curiosity about it. And before anybody gets in the huff, before you start commenting or anything without having watched this, let me just tell you, I'm not anti-adoption. Not at all. I'm not even saying that we are not continuing down the adoption path. In fact, as far as I know, we are. What I am saying is that this process sucks. There is no gentle way to put that. And you kind of hear whispers. It's kind of like before you become parents and you hear whispers that it's not all rainbows and sunshine. And then you get into it, or into the pregnancy or whatever, and all of a sudden you're like, nobody told me. Okay, well, adoption has a lot of that too. Okay, I knew this wouldn't be easy. Nobody actually lies up front about that. Nobody says, it's such a piece of cake. Nobody does, because it's not. What they cannot truly prepare you for, even with all the training in the world, they cannot prepare you for the full emotional roller coaster that is going to ensue for the rest of your life. And I have to assume it's the rest of your life, because in general, adoption changes a lot of things and it affects your life. So, for those of you who are new and are unaware, my husband Sean and I, we do have 7 biological children. Almost exactly a year ago, we started the process on the adoption path. Because of a single listing that we saw, we did actually work forward with that child. But upon finally receiving her entire file, which took months to get, so it was taking time, we found out that no matter how badly we wanted it, there was no way it would work with our family, because doing so would likely put our other children at risk. And that is one rule we have up front. We will not put our other children at risk. So we are equipped for a lot of things. That's just something that's non-negotiable. So backing up though, we did our home study as quickly as possible. In fact, we were told that it's a lot faster than most people get it done. But we were very motivated and we wanted it done. And when I put my mind to something, by golly, it's happening. So with that said, our home study was completed the middle of May in 2018. When you have a home study, you have to update it every 12 months. With the agency we are with, we were originally told $600 to update. Now that we have signed the contract with the agency, it's now $1,100 to update. So every May, as long as we want to keep our home study active, we have to pay $1,100 to renew it, as well as additional expenses for health checks and all that, because everybody in our house has to go have a physical done. Not a full physical, but just a basic health check where the doctor signs off and says that we're healthy, there's nothing new, nothing concerning that needs to be addressed before we can consider adopting. That costs money too, especially considering I highly doubt our deductible will be met. So again, we tell ourselves it is all worth it. We truly, honestly thought that when we started this, we would get through the year and that we would have a child in our home already, and that the adoption would be final before May, and that we wouldn't need to update it. In our state, a child is required to reside in your home for 6 months before you can finalize. So given the fact that we're at the end of January, or second half of January at least, I don't even know what the day is, to be honest, there's no way to get a child here and finalize before it expires. So if we want to proceed, we just have to anticipate paying $1,100 for that. Whatever. We've paid several thousand already. It's just par for the course at this point. So that right there is really prohibitive to a lot of people. Now, we've had a lot of people ask, even somebody from the Children's Home Society ask, why we didn't just go through them. Okay, it's twofold. First of all, I knew the Children's Home Society to be more of a group home type setting. I did not realize that they do home studies and licensing and all that stuff. I had no idea. Otherwise, honestly, we would have, because it is free to go through them. I was also told it's the same thing with Lutheran Social Services, unless you're wanting a domestic infant adoption or possibly international. I don't know if they do that or not. Anyhow, but for what we were looking, which is an older child adoption from the foster care system, you can do it through there for free too. Again, no idea. I thought they charged. We cannot go through the state. The why is because we have too many children. The state of South Dakota does not license foster parents if you have 6 or more children already in the home, because there's a cap of 6 children. In fact, we were told that even if we had 5, there was a high chance they would not approve us, because they would be so limited on who could enter our home. And we don't want to do foster care. That's the other thing, is to go through the state, you have to be licensed to do foster care, and then out of foster care in that process, then maybe you can adopt. We are strictly adoption. I have my own reasons for that. I was raised as a birth child in a foster home. If you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them, but I'm not going to go into it right now, because that's a whole other ball of wax. So we started with that little girl that did not work out, and then the year just has kind of sucked since then. I'm going to be honest. We sold the house we were living in. In that house, it was only a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. We had a 3rd bath that we were planning to finish and an office that we could convert. So keep that in mind. About 2,300 square feet. We were approved for up to 3 more children to adopt, which in that space seems a little crazy, but we were. And it worked, and we could actually show exactly how we would make it work. But that being said, the end of spring, early summer, we decided we were selling that house because a house that was much more fitting came on the market. And somebody sent us the link to it. We were not looking at that moment. And immediately I was like, oh my gosh, we got to go look. There was a snowstorm the next day. We actually waited till the snowstorm stopped and then came and looked at it that day. So it wasn't even 24 hours later that we came and looked at the house. 9-bedroom, 9-bathroom house. And for anybody who's curious about that, you can go onto my playlist. I have one that's Our House, where I've given tours of the rooms. I've talked about it and everything else. Not to mention the disasters that have happened with the house since we moved in. But again, whole other story. So there was a joke when we first moved in that given the house, we could actually have, I think it was like up to 15 children in the house total, including the 7 currently here. And we both kind of laughed like, yeah, that's not happening. And funny story about that. I'm going to get to that towards the end of this. So, okay, fast forwarding. We got into this house and we thought part of the reason we bought the house was also to facilitate an adoption, just to make it easier. No questions of who do we put where. You know, say we adopted a boy, you know, he can't share a room with all the girls. So what do we do? Anyhow, that was part of it, is it would just make everything flow better. And in another video, again, it's titled Our Dissolved Adoption Experience. We did not dissolve an adoption. We were working to adopt a child from a dissolved adoption. In fact, there have been 2 or 3 total. The very first one that started our journey, there was a child out of foster care that we had inquired on and we were looking into. That one I'm actually very happy for. His foster parents decided that they really didn't want him to leave, so they decided to adopt him. And that, I can't be upset, because that's less trauma for him. So I'm very happy there. There's another child I talked about on the other side of the country that his parents chose not to proceed with us. Made it very clear they never would. That, again, is in the dissolved experience. So there was that. We've inquired on other kids. We've had some weird situations. There's a really fat cat walking around. Sorry about that. We've had some weird experiences as far as working with different social workers, caseworkers, whatever. including one who wanted our home study, was all excited, and our worker like 12 different times sent it, and were not getting it for some reason. And as soon as it finally went through, she called, she's like, okay, I got it. Oh, but we already found a placement. If it falls through, I'll let you know. Whatever. So, fast forwarding, I have to think how to word this, because there's really not too much information I want to release. I hinted to this once before too, and said that I don't want to say too much because some of the information is too easy to find. So there is a larger group, a sibling group, that we have really been looking into and trying to get information on, maybe move forward with over the last month. And it has been a process because, I'm gonna grab a drink here. Our caseworker was hesitant to do the addendum on our home study to expand for that many children. We get it, it's not standard. But after a lot of talking and everything, her and her supervisor agreed to it. Great. We sent our home study and the other forms and everything that were requested to the other state that has these children. And they had verified for me before we started that they were willing to look at families in other states if it meant keeping all of the kids together. Because for anybody in the know, sibling groups are harder to place, and the more siblings there are, the harder they are, and the more likely they are to actually split them up for the sake of finding a home. And we wanted these kids to stay together, so we were game for that. We also knew that, honestly, it's a large enough group. There's probably not too many people who are already licensed, who are prepared, who can, and who want to. So it really narrowed down the pool. But I do know that there were others. Anyhow, I actually just heard back yesterday that some local families have come forward and are possibilities. But if one of them does not work out, then they will open our home study and consider us. Which really kind of hurt, because reading that, maybe I overread it, and I will admit that's possible, but it really reads as, in order to keep them local, they're considering splitting these kids up before they will send them out of state. And it's hard enough being rejected, but it is completely breaking my heart. Like, I have cried so many times at the idea that these kids could be split up when we are here and ready and want them, but it's out of our control. So, adoption sucks, but I would change a few things, honestly, I would. In the end, though, it'll all be worth it, and I will forever be an advocate for adoption because it needs to exist. So, hopefully I didn't scare you with the title. But with the recent situation, plus everything else that's happened through the last year, and so many children we were ready to move forward on that fell through, it's taken a real toll on our emotions, on our hearts. So I'm trying. I thought I was okay today, but I'm finding that I'm kind of down a bit still. So I'm going to take it easy, and I will just apologize now if I seem slightly off or less chipper over the next few videos. I'm going to do what I can, and I try not to show it too much because I don't want the kids to be upset. So anyhow, there's that. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because that would make me feel a little bit better. And I will see you guys in the next video, though.